This is a true African lesson. A woman who thought beauty would last forever. A man who gave his heart, but lost himself trying to please her. Watch till the end to see what happened next. Sit down. Grab something to drink. Relax your mind. Today, I tell you about Jerry and Juliana. They lived in the big city, Abuja. He was a gym boy with a kind heart, she was a rich woman with sharp eyes and big money. They loved each other. At least, that's how it started. But things changed, all because of weight. Jerry was a young man with a strong body. He had six-pack abs, smooth skin, and always kept himself clean. Even though he had no money, he still looked sharp. People in his street used to call him Fine Boy. He lived alone in Karu, one of the quiet corners of Abuja. His room was small. Just a bed, a fan that sometimes worked, and a plastic chair near the window. But Jerry never complained. Every morning, before the sun rose, Jerry would go out for training. He didn't have gym equipment, so he used old tires, lifted stones, and did push-ups on the dusty ground. Sometimes, people laughed at him. They didn't understand why someone with no job would be training like an athlete. But Jerry believed in something. He believed that one day, his life would change. He didn't eat much. Most days, he ate once. A small plate of rice or a piece of yam with water. Sometimes Gary with no sugar. All his small money went into paying his rent and buying soap. He worked small jobs, washing cars, delivering parcels, and helping people carry loads in the market. No job was too small for Jerry. He worked with his hands and smiled with his heart. But no matter how hard life was, Jerry never stopped training. His body looked like a statue, firm chest, flat belly, arms strong like wood. And even when he had no food, he would still go and do his push-ups. He told himself, if my bank account is empty, let my body be full of strength. Jerry didn't drink, didn't smoke. He stayed on his own. No loud friends. No noise. His peace was important to him. He had dreams, big ones, but he didn't tell anyone. Not yet. People in Karu saw him walking by every day with his earphones and his towel. Nobody knew his story. Nobody knew what he was fighting for. But what Jerry didn't know was that one day, one woman, one rich woman, would pass by him and stop. She would look at his body and see more than just muscles. She would see a man she wanted. And from that moment, Jerry's quiet life would change. Not slowly. Not gently. It would turn fast. Like wind in the market. Like rain falling on dry ground. A change that would first look like a blessing, but later teach him a deep lesson. And that's where it all began. Juliana was not a small woman in the city. She was known in many places. From Gaki to Wus, from Jobi to Metoma, people respected her name. She owned many things. Big restaurants where rich people ate every night. Beauty spas where women came to fix their face and hair. She even had her own food delivery business, with boys in uniform riding bikes across Abuja. People called her Madam J. They said her money was long like the Nile. She lived in a house with white walls, black gates, and armed guards. When she moved, people looked. Her perfumes filled the air before her car even passed. Her shoes clicked on the floor like power. Juliana didn't beg. She didn't chase anyone. People chased her. Men begged for her number. Some even sent flowers to her office. But she never looked their way. She said most of them were after her money. She wanted something different. Something fresh. Something that felt real. One afternoon, when the sun was sitting high in the sky, Juliana was driving back from her new site in Gorimpa. She had just finished shouting at her builders when she took another road, trying to avoid traffic. As she turned the corner, she saw him. There was Jerry. By the roadside gym, shut off, sweat on his skin, lifting a block like it was nothing. His back was strong, his stomach flat, and his face calm. He was not trying to impress anyone. He didn't even see her. But Juliana saw him. And for the first time in many years, her heart paused. She slowed her black jeep, rolled down the glass, washed. Her driver looked at her in surprise, but she said nothing. She waited. She watched how Jerry wiped his face, how he drank his water from a bottle that looked like it had seen better days. Juliana asked around. A small girl selling oranges near the gym told her, "That's Jerry. He trains here every day. No miss." From that day, Juliana kept passing that road. Not once. Not twice. She changed her route just to see him. And then, one morning, she did something she never did before. She told her driver to stop. She stepped out. Clean gown, dark glasses, gold on her wrist. She walked straight to him. From that moment, things started changing. Jerry didn't believe it at first. He thought she was playing. A rich woman like that? Talking to someone like him? He smiled and kept training. But Juliana didn't stop. She asked about his life. She came with food. She gave him new shoes. It was strange for people in the area. How can a woman with money be running after a gym boy? But she didn't care. Juliana liked what she saw. And slowly, Jerry started to trust her. She laughed at his jokes. She didn't talk down on him. She made him feel special. Even though he had no car, no job, no big phone. She said, "I like you just the way you are." But what Jerry didn't know was that love from someone with power is not always sweet. It can start like honey and end like pepper. And soon, the same woman that brought light into his life would become the storm that nearly broke him. This was just the beginning. Love moved fast like river water after heavy rain. One day Jerry was lifting blocks in Gorimpa, the next, he was sitting beside Juliana in one of the finest hotels in Abuja. She took him to places he had only seen on TV. Buffets with food from all over the world. Rooms that smelled like flowers and looked like heaven. She bought him new clothes. Not just any clothes, but designer brands. Shirts that hugged his body, shoes that shone like glass, watches that looked like they could buy a plot of land. People in Karu could hardly believe it. Jerry now walked with confidence. His back was straight, his smile full. He started talking differently. Eating differently. Moving like a man who had finally arrived. Juliana was proud of him. She told her friends, "That's my man." They laughed at first, saying she had picked a gym boy from the street. But when she opened a small food joint for him, their laughter stopped. The food joint did well. Jerry was friendly and hardworking. Customers liked him. A few months later, Juliana gave him another gift, a car wash. Then came a small boutique. Business after business. Jerry's life changed. From hand to mouth to pockets full of cash. From 1 meal a day to 3 plates with snacks in between. From walking indoors to riding in air-conditioned cars. But something else changed too. Something quiet. Something slow. Jerry stopped going to the gym. At first, it was just a few missed days. He said he was tired. Too busy with the food joint. Then it became 1 week. Then 2. He told himself he would go back. But every day brought something new, meetings, deliveries, trips with Juliana. Food became a friend. He no longer ate for survival. He ate for comfort. And Juliana fed him well. Every time she came home, she brought snacks, drinks, full plates. At first, his clothes got tight. Then his neck disappeared. His steps became slower. The six-pack melted into one soft round belly. Jerry looked in the mirror one day and didn't know what to say. The face was the same, but the body was not. Still, he smiled. He had money now. He had love. He had someone who believed in him. Or so he thought. But in the shadows of this new life, a storm was waiting. A small change that Jerry ignored was about to grow big. Bigger than his body. Bigger than his pride. And when it came, it didn't knock. It broke the door. Jerry's days now started with food and ended with more food. Bread in the morning, rice in the afternoon, swallow at night. In between, meat pies, ice cream, soft drinks. Juliana made sure he lacked nothing. She said, eat, enjoy, rest. And Jerry listened. He no longer touched the gym mat. The weights gathered dust. His skipping rope stayed under the bed. The same hands that once lifted blocks now carried spoons. His chest, once firm like rock, now bounced when he walked. His stomach pushed out like it wanted to speak first in any room. The first time his trousers refused to button, he laughed. He said, "It's just food belly." But by the third pair, he knew it was more. His shirts hugged him too tight. Buttons screamed for help. Even his shoes looked tired under his weight. He stopped looking in mirrors. When he bathed, he kept the light off. When he passed by glass doors, he turned his face. Jerry, the same man who used to flex his muscles in public, now hid his body like it was a crime. But the biggest change wasn't on his skin. It was in Juliana's eyes. At first, she acted like she didn't see it. She would laugh and say, "You're eating well, baby." But slowly, her smile faded. Her eyes became sharp. Her words turned cold. She started pulling her hand away in public. Started walking 2 steps ahead. One day, inside a supermarket in Woos, she looked at him and said loud enough for people to hear, "Oh Jerry, see your stomach. Are you pregnant?" People turned. Some laughed. Jerry forced a smile, but inside, he was shaking. From that day, it got worse. In restaurants, she would speak like she was scolding a child. "Why are you eating like this? Don't you see your size?" At her office, in front of her workers, she would say, "My husband now looks like my uncle. I didn't sign up for this." Even her friends joined her. They would whisper and laugh behind their wine glasses. Jerry didn't answer. He just sat there. Every word was like a slap. Every laugh, a wound. He started eating even more. Not because he was hungry, but because it was the only thing that didn't reject him. His world was now full of shame. He avoided places where people knew him before. He walked with his head down. Even his workers stopped respecting him. Some called him Chairman Roundbelly behind his back. And Juliana no longer looked at him with love. Her eyes now held something else. Something cold. Like she was counting down to a time when she would no longer pretend. The same woman who lifted him from the street was now breaking him in public. Piece by piece. And Jerry, the fine boy from Karu, had no idea that the worst pain was still waiting. A pain deeper than shame. A pain that would shake his soul. It didn't stop at whispers or small jokes. Juliana started using her voice like a whip. Anywhere they went together, she made sure people heard her. In restaurants, while other couples laughed and held hands, Juliana shouted across the table. She would point at Jerry's plate and say, "You want to finish all the meat again? Is that why your stomach is growing like balloon?" When Jerry reached for extra meat, she slapped his hand without shame. People turned and stared. Waiters looked away in silence. And Jerry, he just smiled like it was nothing. But deep inside, something was breaking. At her office, Juliana made him feel even smaller. She called him fat boy in front of her staff. One day during a staff meeting, she laughed and said, my husband now eats like a pregnant goat. All he does is sit, eat, and grow belly." Laughter followed. Even the security guards at the gate started calling him Ogre Bell. Jerry said nothing. He didn't fight back. He didn't argue. He just lowered his head and walked quietly. At night, when the lights were off and Juliana was sleeping, Jerry stayed awake. Tears ran down his face, but no one saw. He beat his pillow so no sound would come out. His heart was heavy. The house was big, but he felt alone. He thought of the old days. The mornings in Koru. The sound of his feet hitting the ground as he trained. The small meals. The simple life. He used to have peace, even in poverty. Now he had money, cars, businesses, but his peace was gone. He looked at himself one night in the mirror. Really looked. The body he once built with sweat was no longer there. His face was swollen. His eyes looked tired. His neck had disappeared. His back was round. He didn't recognize the man staring back. He wanted to fix it. He thought of going back to the gym. But Juliana made sure he never had time. If he left the house, she followed with calls. If he stayed too long outside, she would complain. She didn't want him to get better. She wanted him broken, weak, and quiet. And Jerry, still holding on to love, still hoping she would change, stayed. But what he didn't know was that the worst part was close. It was coming like harmattan dust. Quiet at first, then hard. Because very soon, Juliana was not just going to shame him. She was going to take everything. And leave him with nothing. Not even his name. It was a cold evening in Abuja. The kind of evening where the clouds look tired and the air feels heavy. Jerry had just finished helping at the food joint Juliana opened for him. His shirt was wet with sweat, and his stomach made his trousers tight. Still, he was smiling. He had bought her favorite suya on the way to her office, hoping it would make her laugh again. When he entered, the air inside was sharp. The air conditioner was loud, but the room was quiet. Juliana sat behind her glass table, wearing a white blouse and gold earrings. She didn't look up when Jerry walked in. He greeted her. She didn't answer. He stepped closer and placed the suya on the table. That's when she looked at him. Her eyes were full of something Jerry had never seen before. Not love. Not anger. Something else. Something dry and hard. She said it slow, like she wanted every word to cut deep. "You disgust me, Jerry. You're not the man I fell in love with." Jerry stood there, holding the suya in one hand and his breath in the other. He couldn't speak. His mouth was open, but no words came. She stood up, opened a drawer, and threw a small envelope on the table. Inside was a letter. A lawyer's letter. Simple words. Clean language. But the message was clear, she was done. She had used her power. Closed all the businesses. Transferred the names. Changed the papers. Locked the accounts. The joint bank account they shared now had zero. Not even transport fare. Jerry tried to talk. He begged. He cried. But Juliana didn't blink. She told her security to walk him out. No clothes. No car. No house. Nothing. He left the office with the same shirt he entered with. The same tight trousers. The same broken heart. Jerry called old friends. Most didn't pick. The few who answered said they were busy. One even told him, "You followed a big woman. Now face it." Only one friend helped. An old classmate who stayed in Nigerian. He said Jerry could sleep on the floor in his one-room house. No bed. Just mat. That's where Jerry found himself. Lying on a cold mat, no fan, no light, no food. He stared at the ceiling, listening to rats in the corner and car horns far away. He couldn't believe it. Just a few weeks ago, he had a boutique, a car wash, a food joint. He had clean clothes, AC in every room, even people greeting him with respect. Now, he had silence. Empty pockets. Heavy shame. But as he lay on that mat, something woke up inside him. Something small. Something that had been quiet for too long. Pain had come. Shame had arrived. But something else was rising. Something called hunger. Not the hunger for food. The hunger to get up again. Jerry cried like a baby. Not once. Not twice. But every night for many days. The floor in Nigerian was hard, but not as hard as the pain in his chest. He cried for the love he lost. He cried for the body he lost. He cried for the man he used to be. Some nights, his stomach made noise. No food. No sleep. Just pain and memories. He thought about the way Juliana used to smile at him. The way she called him her king. Now, she had thrown him away like dust. But pain doesn't last forever. One morning, Jerry opened his eyes and sat up. The sun came in through the small window. He looked around. It was still the same room. Still no fan. Still no bed. But something had changed. Inside him, a fire had started. He stood up, wore his old shoes, and walked to the roadside gym near the market. He hadn't trained in months. His arms were weak, his stomach still round, his back heavy. But he started anyway. 1 push-up. Then 2. Then 5. Every day, he went back. People laughed. They called him names. But Jerry didn't stop. His body was crying, but he kept going. He needed to eat, so he started selling smoothies by the roadside. Just a small cooler with plastic cups. Banana, milk, groundnut. Simple things. But healthy. He used what Juliana taught him: clean packaging, friendly talk, good service. People loved it. Women came after morning jogs. Office workers stopped to buy before going to work. Some took pictures with him. He smiled, thanked them, and went back to training. He saved every naira. Bought better fruits. Bought a second cooler. Hired one small boy to help. In 6 months, Jerry was no longer just the smoothie guy. He opened a small fitness store in Gwarimpa. Sold protein powder, fitness drinks, exercise clothes. After that, he opened a second one in Lugby. Bigger. Cleaner. With posters of himself, strong body, bright smile, clean beard. He had lost 70 kilograms. His stomach was flat. His chest was strong. His six-pack had come back like a warrior returning home. His beard was full, his skin fresh. Jerry was back. But this time, smarter. One hot afternoon, a big car stopped in front of his store. A celebrity stepped out. Famous actress. Everyone knew her face. She bought smoothies, took photos, posted online. Said, "This is the best fitness guy in Abuja." That night, Jerry's phone didn't stop ringing. Orders came in from all over the city. Even Lagos. People begged for delivery. His name spread like fire. Jerry, the same man who once cried on a mat in Nigerian, now had customers from high places. People who once laughed at him now clapped when he walked by. He didn't shout. He didn't boast. He just walked. Quiet, clean, strong. But in the middle of all this success, something unexpected was coming. Someone from the past was about to return. And Jerry was ready. One night, in her big house with cold tiles and wide mirrors, Juliana sat on her bed scrolling through her phone. She was tired. Business had been slow that week. Her staff were not performing well. Things were not moving like before. She needed something to lift her mood. She opened Instagram, hoping to find a funny video or a sweet picture. But what she saw made her phone fall from her hand. It was Jerry. But not the Jerry she left crying on the floor. This Jerry was different. He stood in front of a glass door, muscles sharp, chest wide, skin glowing. His beard was full, and he wore a black t-shirt with the words, "Fit Life by Jerry." Thousands of likes. Hundreds of comments. People calling him inspiration. One woman said, "This man is a gift." Juliana's chest became tight. She picked her phone and checked his page again. More photos. Jerry lifting weights, smiling with customers, shaking hands with the governor, even posing beside a big car. She screamed. The pain came fast. The kind that starts in the stomach and climbs to the eyes. She had left him with nothing. But now he had become something. She called his number. No answer. He called again. Nothing. For 3 days, she tried. Messages. Emails. Even sent someone to his shop pretending to be a customer. Jerry didn't reply. So she dressed in a simple gown, no makeup, no driver. She entered her small car and drove to his gym. It was clean, bright, full of people. She saw his photo on the wall, smiling, strong, proud. She waited near the front desk. After some time, Jerry walked out from the back room. When she saw him, her legs became weak. She ran to him, crying. People looked. Staff watched. But she didn't care. She said, "Baby, I miss you." She said, "Baby, I was angry. I didn't mean to hurt you." She held his hand and begged with her eyes. But Jerry just stood there, looking at her. No anger. No pride. Just calm. He said, "The man you loved is back." He paused. Then added, "But I'm not your man anymore." And he walked away. No noise. No fight. Just peace. Juliana stood there, her eyes full of tears, her hands empty. And in that moment, she knew. She had lost more than a man. She had lost a king. And this time, there was no second chance. In this life, never love someone only because of how they look. Beauty can change. Bodies can grow or shrink. Faces can wrinkle. Skin can stretch. The outside of a person will not always stay the same. But the heart is where the true beauty lives. Juliana loved Jerry when he was fine. When his six-pack was fresh, when his face could turn heads. She gave him gifts, opened doors, and called him king. But when life changed him, when food replaced his muscles and his shape changed, she turned away. She forgot the love. She forgot the days they shared. She forgot the man inside the body. But Jerry did not forget who he was. Even when he lost everything, he did not lose himself. He cried, yes. He fell, yes. But he got up. He trained. He walked. He grew. Not just in body, but in spirit. He learned how to stand again. This time, with his own feet. With his own name. With his own strength. Juliana came back, thinking she would find the same broken man. But she found a man who had healed. A man who had learned. A man who now knew what true respect felt like. Because sometimes, pain is not the end. Sometimes, pain is the fire that brings out gold. Sometimes, a broken heart becomes a strong heart. So to you listening to this story, let me ask you, if you were Jerry, after all the shame, all the insults, all the pain, and now that you have made it back, would you take Juliana back? Would you forgive her? Would you give her a second chance? Or would you walk away like Jerry did, calm, quiet, but full of strength? Tell me. Tell us. Drop your answer in the comment. I want to hear your voice. Because every story has a lesson. And every lesson comes with a choice. Which one would you make? Thank you for listening to this African story. A story full of pain, love, fall, and rise. A story that shows what can happen when someone forgets the value of the heart. A story that reminds us that everything can change, money can go, beauty can fade, power can shake, but the spirit of a person, when it wakes up, can never be stopped. If this story touched you, if it made you think, if it made you feel something deep inside, then let your finger show it. Hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Subscribe to the channel for more stories like this, stories with meaning, with lessons, with truth. Because life is not always straight. Sometimes, the ones we lift up can push us down. And sometimes, the ones we push down are the ones who rise the highest. Every story we tell here carries a light. A light that helps us see the road ahead. So, until next time, stay humble. Don't let pride blind you. Stay strong. Even when life beats you. And never forget who you are. No matter what happens. Thank you. See you again.